Now I gazed fully upon the Imlimo as he was about to enter the cave. He was a strong, active man, perhaps 60 years old, with short cropped hair, rather sharp-featured for a Negro, and of a mahogany tint rather than the Nilotic black. His face was forceful, hard, cruel, and very wide between the eyes. He was not dressed in snakeskins, charms, or any of the ordinary equipment of the witch doctor. Neither did he have about him any article whatever of white manufacture. Here was the author of all our woes. Because of him, my little daughter was dead, and the bones of hundreds of brave men and good women were scattered on the veldt by hyenas. Carrington's command, "Capture him if you can, kill him if you must," rang in my ears. The moment had come for action. But after all, it was young Armstrong's skill that had located our arch-enemy, and I knew Armstrong intended never to ride back to Bulawayo until the Imlimo was dead. I whispered, "Armstrong, this is your work. When he enters the cave, you kill him." "No," he replied, "you do it." So as the Imlimo came in, I made a slight sound and gave him his last chance to turn the white man's bullet to water. I put the bullet under his heart. It would have been impossible to capture him alive, even if we had chosen, for we were almost within gunshot of a black regiment, and the country swarmed with armed natives. At the crack of my rifle, we sprang out of the cave, stepping over the Imlimo's body, and ran down the path toward the huts the nearest way to our horses. There was no further need for secrecy in our movements. The roaring echo of the shot within the cave, booming and bellowing after us, and the frightful apparition of two armed white men dashing out of the temple of their god were too much for the old wooden cops. They sat for one instant frozen with terror at their stations, and then fled. In their excuse be it said, they were armed only with knob-carries, and the young herders who were helping the women prepare the dancing floor for the next day's ceremony had only their assegais. Our real danger was from the armed regiment in camp at the north end of the Kabje, about half a mile away. Running toward our horses, I shouted to Armstrong to help me fire the huts. Pulling out a bundle of thatch and lighting it, we set fire right and left and sped on. The yelling of the natives having stirred up the fighting regiment, we circled around our horses, fearing an ambush, but found our mounts still concealed and undisturbed. Fortunately for us, the African native is far less observant than the American Indian. Yet, for 2 hours we were hotly pursued, and had a long ride and a running fight over rough ground until we were nearly exhausted, but the savages abandoned the chase after we had crossed the Shoshone River. On looking back, we saw a huge sheet of flame and volumes of black smoke rolling over the granite dome above the cave, and knew our work was well done.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.